Hey guys, welcome to the Sim Racing Paddock. I'm William Marsh, and I wanted to address a question that I've been getting a lot from the sim racing community. Since I've had my first few previews of Project Cars 2, a lot of people have been asking me the question, Project Cars 2 versus Forza Motorsport 7, what should I get? So I wanted to dissect it down and see why you might want to buy Project Cars 2, and also why you might want to buy Forza Motorsport 7. Now, as a disclaimer, I have not tested Forza Motorsport 7 for myself yet, so I'm going to be gauging this based on knowledge that I know, and some speculation about how it's going to be when it releases. My experience with Project Cars 2 is with the pre-release build that I was provided by Bandai Namco, which is somewhat representative of what we are going to be getting in the final release, albeit it is not in its final state right now. Please note that this is not going to be a verdict on which title is better or which one has the better physics, because just to be frank, I can't vouch for that right now. I have not tested Forza Motorsport 7, so I can't speak for the physics improvement. I know that Forza Motorsport 7 is going to have improved force feedback due to them hiring a new wheel and force feedback specialist, but I still haven't tried it out for myself. So for this comparison, we are largely going to draw from the knowledge we know and go from there. So the first question is, what kind of racing are we going to see in Project Cars 2, and what kind of racing are we going to see in Forza Motorsport 7? With Forza Motorsport 7, I think we are largely going to see the single player experience being largely the same as what we saw in previous Forza Motorsport titles. That means you're going to start from the bottom of the racing ladder, buy a cheap, slower car, build up your racing skills, build up your credits, buy your way into faster cars. You're also going to have the reward cars and things like that, but your progression is going to be with those mini championships. Then you buy a new car, enter a new championship, and move your way up in the series, like we've seen in most other Forza Motorsport titles. Project Cars 2 single player career, I believe, is going to be a lot similar to Project Cars 1. You're not going to be buying your way up through the series. You're going to progress up through the championship ladder by negotiating deals, earning new rides, and finding your way through larger championships. So Forza Motorsport single player campaign mode is definitely going to appeal more towards those that are looking to collect the cars, and Project Cars 2 is going to be more apt for people who are looking to progress through a virtual racing ladder. Project Cars 2, I believe, is going to have more options available for customizing races, setting duration, time of day, and the weather, but Forza Motorsport isn't going to be a slouch either. In terms of online racing, I'm going to anticipate the two titles being somewhat similar because they're going to shift more towards an esports focus. I believe Project Cars 2 might be slightly better for the structured leagues and online racing due to the fact that there are more customizable options for races compared to what we've seen in Forza Motorsport in the past. However, I am anticipating that Forza Motorsport 7 is going to have more options available because it is going to be structured more towards a professional racing environment. My guess is that both of these titles will be solid for online racing and fairly similar. So let's take a look at the variety of cars and tracks in both titles. In regards to the car roster, I have to tip my hat to Forza Motorsport 7. While Project Cars 2's roster of 140 plus cars is definitely considerable, it just pales in comparison to the over 700 cars in Forza Motorsport 7. Also factor in that most of these cars can also be tuned and tweaked in Forza Motorsport. You can do engine swaps, drivetrain swaps, upgrade the suspension, put new wheels on, all of that. And that really fleshes out the gearhead experience. So if you really love your cars, if you're a total gearhead, I recommend Forza Motorsport 7 for all of those cars. Forza Motorsport 7 has 32 tracks, and Project Cars 2 has a total of 46 confirmed. Looking at their rosters of real-world locations, they're actually quite similar. We're seeing a lot of similar tracks such as Bathurst, Brands Hatch, Watkins Glen, Sonoma Raceway, the Nürburgring, Monza, and so on. However, while the two are close, I'm going to have to give the edge to Project Cars 2. While some of the tracks are admittedly more accurate in Forza Motorsport 7, Project Cars 2 gets the edge by having a greater variety. Project Cars 2 is going to have rallycross courses as well as ice tracks. That is something that is not available in Forza Motorsport 7. However, the competition is extremely close because most of my favorite tracks in Project Cars 2 are in Forza Motorsport 7, and some of my favorite Forza Motorsport tracks are not in Project Cars 2. So this is an extremely close battle. Now thirdly, let's take a look at features. And I gotta say that this is a really difficult one, so I'm gonna call it a toss-up by the way of comparing apples to oranges. As mentioned before, these two titles cater to two kind of different demographics, despite them both being racing titles. Forza Motorsport 7 appeals to that gearhead that loves collecting cars, tinkering with them, and tuning and tweaking. Project Cars 2 appeals to the racing diehard, the one that's wanting that immersive racing experience. So in turn, the feature sets for both titles cater to those demographics. Forza Motorsport 7 has excellent customizing. It has the ability to customize your car, add new parts, drivetrain swap, engine swap, things like that, as well as an in-depth livery editor. Project Cars 2, on the other hand, has the more race features in it. It has the rallycross, it has the ice racing, it has the dynamic time of day, day-to-night transition. So in terms of features, look at what you're wanting out of your title. Are you wanting that car customizing, collecting, and painting features? Or are you wanting more of that serious racing, rules customizing, catering your race to what you need element? So the last comparison I'm going to address in this is compatibility. And in this one, Project Cars 2 wins by a landslide. Forza Motorsport 7 is going to be a lot more accessible than Forza Motorsport 6 Apex and Forza Horizon 3. However, with Microsoft's ecosystem, you're still only able to play it on a Windows 10 system. Also, while the confirmed devices list is a lot more diverse, it is still relatively limited to what Microsoft has allowed, and there really isn't much word on if devices such as external pedals, button boxes, and other utilities like that will be supported. Also, while the PC version of Forza Motorsport 7 will feature triple screen and ultra-wide support, Project Cars 2 will feature support for virtual reality via the Oculus Rift and the OpenVR protocol. So that's something to take into consideration as well if you're into VR. One factor you might also want to take into consideration though is if you buy Forza Motorsport 7, you can actually play it on the Xbox One and PC with one purchase. For Project Cars 2, if you're wanting it on two platforms, you're going to have to buy the same game twice. But all in all, my summary for this first part in the comparison is that there is no clear definitive winner. Ultimately, there are different kinds of gearheads, there are different kinds of car freaks, there are different kinds of people who are passionate about cars. Some of them are more passionate about collecting cars, tuning them, and souping them up. Then there's some car fans that are more akin to taking it out on the track, racing against multiple people. Your mileage may vary. But hey, one of the greatest things about being a sim racer is you can have multiple titles. You can enjoy multiple titles. You can have fun with multiple titles. You're not locked into one title, guys. So if you want both, have both. If you want one, just get one. And just have fun. Thank you for watching, and for the Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a great rest of your day.